Welcome, everyone, to episode 438 of Dial the Gate, the Stargate Oral History Project. My name is David Reed. I appreciate you being with me for this episode. I am really excited about this one because, as a lot of you know, Summit and Last Stand were my favorite shows for a really long time in the Stargate canon. And one of the reasons was Goa'uld Mardi Gras. We got to look at a huge tapestry of Goa'uld in this episode, and it was just the villains on full display. And to that end, with this episode, I am privileged to welcome Bonnie Kilroe, Morrigan in Stargate SG-1. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for being with me for this episode. It is a treat to have you and actually get to talk with you and hear what you have to say. You were among the Goa'uld who were unspeaking, and I was like, I can't wait to hear what she has to say about this absolutely outrageous group of performers who were there, and costumes, who were there for a important part of Stargate canon, and came up repeatedly through the rest of the show, and to get to know you a little bit as well. So thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
So you have, I want to get to this from the top. You have a program that is kind of a, would you describe it as a cabaret? Like, what would you, how would you
it's kind
define?
it's a musical comedy cabaret, I would say.
Okay.
So it's sort of like a Vegas, cruise ship. I've performed everywhere. I've done it all. Aside from full-on stripping. in the terms of performance, and necessity is the mother of invention. So that's why I discovered my show. And I didn't actually have the show until just after Stargate, actually. Funny enough,
Really?
Yeah, I've been doing it since 2001, and I think 2000 is when I did Stargate. I think it was 2000 or 2001.
It was 2000, middle of 2001. That's right.
Middle of 2001. And that, I think, was my first show that year. And I've taken that show everywhere. I've got like 5 shows now, and I did work on cruise ships. It started off as a really bad show with like cassette tapes. Because I just one of those people that just make it happen. I'm like, I want adventure. I want to do a show, and I just threw it together with like terrible costumes and wigs, and then I got this cruise contract from someone named John Whitefoot. I don't think he's working anymore, but he took a chance on me, and I went on the cruise ships, and it was around that time because I was trying to break into film, and I really feel like I didn't get a chance to be Morrigan, to really have a voice. I would have loved just like give me something to work with. Like
that's a powerful woman sitting there.
I was given very little direction, but I knew I was the boss. So, and I had a slave. So I was like, I can work with that, no problem.
And the choice of costume suggests that she probably enjoyed that slave.
Oh, she did. I'm for sure she did. That costume took weeks of fittings, and I'm not joking. And I'm weeks. That was like full leather. Okay, and my boobs were hoisted so high, almost up to my chin, and I was in that for probably 14 hours a day. And at the end of the I guess the last day, I had blisters under my boobs. And girls, you know how sensitive that skin under anywhere on your boobs, but the underside of your boob is just, it's such frail skin. And I mean, they were just like propped, right? I couldn't there was nothing to take off. I had to wear that the whole time. But they made that specifically, obviously, for all of us. We all had a custom costume. But honestly, I think my costume was the hardest one because it's just, I would love to see or to know where that costume is. I'm happy to say I can probably fit into it. I can still fit into it. I'm hardly up a size.
Well, actually,
it might be down a size.
No, this episode, I want to go like straight off the bat. You were so kind to bring some photos in and I'd like to
Mm.
have a look at them with you here.
Yeah.
Because you took a whole roll of film
Yeah,
during
and
the
there's
production.
probably more. I'm
How
sure
many
there's more
days was
somewhere.
this? Was this a few days?
It was, I think, I'm trying to remember. It might have been 3, like
Okay.
very long. But like I said, many fittings. So
Wow.
a whole lot of fittings just for that costume alone.
Christina
And
McQuarrie's just a beast. The stuff
mm,
that she could pull off
incredible.
was just wild.
hmm
So
And that's a friend of mine, Angela Case. Yeah, she's just, oh, she's stunning. She's gorgeous. She lives in the interior now. She's like a model. She's so
wow.
beautiful. Yeah. The makeup, or actually, I'll never forget that day. They
Yeah.
put this green eyeshadow on me for the first time. And for the last 25 years, I've been wearing that green, like going after that green eyeshadow. It was because of Stargate. I'm not wearing it exactly today, but that minty, it was Lise Wattier. I think they stopped making it, but I got another similar kind of shade.
Found
But
something
that
that
it's
works.
funny when you think of those things, I think what did I get out of that? Well, I wore that eyeshadow like my entire life.
That's the
That
thing.
shade.
If you find something that works, then go with it. And
Yeah. I
that
was
is
like,
not the first time that I've heard that kind of thing from performers on Stargate, where like they found this for me, and it was like match made in heaven. I'm done. I don't need anything else. This is me.
yeah.
That is
Yeah,
so
it was pretty
cool.
cool. It is cool.
So this is
And
her with. Oh, go ahead, please.
no, I was going to say that I remember now, because I've been thinking about just the time, even though it was brief. Um, we mentioned earlier that Gary Jones, that Gary
Yes.
Jones, and then I totally forgot that he was on the show and that I did this course with him last year. Such an awesome man, love him. And also Paul Anthony, I remember he was also on Stargate because he ran Talent Time in Vancouver because it's a pretty small
Yes.
community. And I was on his show a couple of times because of my crazy cabaret acts. And he ran like the craziest. I don't know did you interview him?
I haven't talked with Paul yet, but yes,
Oh,
he
okay.
he
He
is
would probably be
definitely
great.
he's definitely on my to-do list because he had a place in Atlantis as well as
hmm
SG-1, and he
Yeah,
the cool guy,
very
nefarious
cool. Yeah, nice
characters.
guy. Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. But it's
wow.
kind of like, yeah, 25 years later, which is so hard to believe. My God.
Right? So
Yeah.
this is Huisi Amiya, and he was Olukan.
hmm He was really nice. I didn't get to talk too much with him, but there's all of us. Yeah.
Vince
Yeah.
Cristeo, yeah.
That's a beautiful, it was so sunny that day. I remember I was like, I
you,
gotta get
you
some
count
shots
those
in this
days in
light.
Vancouver. That's right.
The rare days.
Oh,
I
what
love
what
that
a
shot. That shot
amazing
is
costume,
stunning.
Kali.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
love for her to see this picture. I don't know if I gave,
I can
because I
get in touch
mean,
with her.
do
Yeah, it's
please
I'm forgetting
share
her
these
name.
photos. I can't
Yes,
remember her name either, but she was really, really sweet, and she's just stunning. And I love taking pictures. I love photography. So I was so
clearly you know
glad
what
because
you're
this
doing.
is this is a really good shot.
Yep.
Yeah, with an actual camera, like a digital.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
it's
we
so funny.
go.
There's my slave.
You know how to have a good
Good
time, don't you?
times, baby. It
Wow. Look at that bodice. My goodness.
was heavy,
Yeah.
full leather. Like it wasn't cheap fake shit. It was
Yeah,
good.
they weren't messing around.
No, and then the hair and the makeup. I mean, it just took so much time to get ready, as you know, with film. So much
Yes.
prep, so much prep. And I'm just thinking back, like, because I did lots of background work while I was on set. I was on
On
Stargate a
Martinwood.
couple of times in the past, but
Oh,
it's great
really?
to have these photos, especially for the fans. You know,
Oh, they're gonna eat it
because
up.
no one's ever seen these photos. I've just had them in my photo album
That's
with like
right.
thousands of other just randoms, from just days gone by.
That's it.
And it's nice to have them appreciated.
No, we are absolutely going to appreciate them. These are fantastic. This was,
Really
in terms of the
costume.
mythology, our first real look at the collective bad guys that were the system lords. We knew that they they decided what was going to be happening in the galaxy and whether or not the Goa'uld were going to come after us on a Tuesday or a Thursday, or they were going to leave us alone. But we had never really seen them as a group before. And then this episode comes along, and it's kind of like a showcase of like these are the beings who run the galaxy and think that well, they know that they're the ones in charge because they control they control all these star systems. Man,
That's
look at
great.
that. I didn't realize how wide it was.
I know I don't actually have much like hips. I don't, but they gave me some pretty nice hips there.
Oh man, holy cow.
Yeah. It was
Were the shoes
just
comfortable?
no. Those were pretty sure those were like, were they thigh-high boots? I don't know if you can see zoomed in.
Pretty tall.
I remember them being like very high and it just incredibly uncomfortable, but worth it. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's the
suck it
thing.
up, lady.
Do you feel
You
like
look
$1 million
fabulous.
when you're in them? Like this
Oh
is
yeah, yeah.
this person. There's something to be said when you
Hmm.
factor in pain and poise, and
Yeah,
you may not be saying anything,
it's
but that character is speaking volumes just by being there
that's
in
right. It's like,
that.
when they talk about women wearing the pantsuit, and having that sort of like just that solid confidence, but when you're wearing an outfit like that, you just feel like,
Yeah.
like I could just take on the world.
The
It's pretty
universe.
great. It's pretty great. But and you have to be able I mean, it was easy for me, might not be easy for other people to present that way, but I mean, it was like not
Right.
a problem. Like I was like,
Well,
yeah.
it's what's the word that I want?
Dominatrix. Just kidding.
No, yeah, it is, but it's like the word that I wanted was bold. Like
Mm,
someone doesn't dress like this unless they're making a specific statement. Well, a couple of them. Dominatrix. I clearly enjoy this body. That's one of the things about the Goa'uld. They pick their hosts very deliberately. They pick
mhm.
beautiful people for a reason, and this one's going to yuck it up,
Yeah.
obviously. But also it's like, don't mess with me.
Yeah, it's not just
Steer
sexual,
clear.
sexually attractive. It's not mess with me. It's don't fuck with me, right? I mean, is
That's right.
there's a like she's just ready to rock. She's ready to just shoot anyone down that like gives her the wrong look. Like she's just ready. She's ready to go in terms of killing and going to bed. Like
Yeah.
she's ready.
Yeah.
She's just
She's killing it
ready
out there on the battlefield and in the well, I mean, So,
in the sheets.
wow.
Yeah.
That's it in the sheets.
I don't think
Man.
she'd be in the sheets or in the dark though.
We sold those. I was a part of the team that sold those set pieces, and those
Oh.
thrones were heavy. That
Oh
was
wow.
solid wood, and
Wow.
when you sat on them, they were not comfortable. But they were a status symbol in and of themselves. Those thrones,
Mhm.
uh, and
So
when
where
you
did they go? Sorry, go on.
the auctions. Just like
And did
I'm sure your costume went up for auction. I didn't sell it. It was long gone before I got it. I was one of the final rounds when Stargate SG-1 was wrapping shop. But
mm-hmm.
it's in a collector's hands somewhere, and
Mm,
hopefully,
okay.
they'll come up and say, "I've got it. Here are photos." So
Yeah, should be in touch about that kind of thing. So we can,
absolutely, the people come and go in this fandom and pop up years later and say, "I've got this," and it's amazing the stuff that we as a group regain access to because either someone has passed and it's come into someone else's hands. They're like, I knew that this was this show, but can someone please identify it for me?
yeah,
That's the amazing thing about the online community.
and
It's just
I know I
wild.
love that. I love that. And then hearing, you get to remember the old stories and find out the new stories that might have been a part of, you
That's
know?
right. There's always a production that ran this long. There's always something new that you can learn.
It's great. They're pretty clear, but
Who's this?
I can't remember now. I think she might have done my makeup. Now I'm
Okay.
trying to remember. I don't remember. And you just and that's back, by the way, kids. That's before
Before selfies?
selfies. Yeah. That's me with just a freaking camera, just kind of thinking this is probably gonna work, and it worked.
When the selfies were blurry because we didn't have autofocus. It's like, this is as far as I can do it.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing these, Bonnie. That was great.
I'm glad.
That was really cool. How young were you
I
when
was
you realized you had
30.
the performing
Yeah.
bug? I mean, like
Oh, I thought
when
you
you
meant when I
first
did.
started that you wanted to do that you wanted to be on stage for a living, that you wanted to show a part of the inside of you out there to everyone, that you wanted to project
Yeah, high
this
school.
this high
Yeah,
school.
high
Okay.
school. Yeah, I did a couple of. I remember auditioning. This is ridiculous, but there's a play called The Gift of the Magi, and it's
Okay.
an opera. There's only two people in the story. I don't know if you know The Gift of the Magi, but it's the
Christmas?
story. Do you know it?
No,
Anyway, I'll explain
I'm
it
assuming it's
quickly.
Christmas.
It's a very conservative play
Okay.
about a young married couple, and from the 19, I think maybe 1915, or kind of trying to remember the time frame, the early 1900s, and they're very much in love, and they're very poor, and she cuts her hair to buy a chain for his watch, and he sells his watch to get her a comb for her long hair.
Oh
So yeah,
no.
yeah, and it's really sweet. And at the end, they give each other the presents, and it's like, oh no, like you don't have your watch. But we love each other. Our love is, it's all about just like doesn't matter about the things we have. It's about the love. But anyway, so I got that leading role, and it was like a big deal back then. But my audition, my audition was Carol Burnett, um, singing "Little Girls." The musical Little Girls. I don't know if you remember. It's like little girls, everywhere you go, you can see them. And it was an insane comedy musical number where I was on my back with my skirt up and sticking my feet up like this, you know. And somehow they gave the part to me. I don't know what did it, but I was
I'm sure she can tone
shocked.
it down. I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Let's put her hair up in a little bun and give her like, like everything covered from here down and have her sing opera. So somehow they saw something in me, and anyways, it was a wonderful experience. And I worked
Ah,
with a friend of mine, Brian Olander, who has since he worked with Michael Bublé. He's incredible music director and singer himself. He did the music, and it's so funny the things we remember, those early shaping moments of high school.
it's
But
the
yeah,
things that
that
stand
was
out that define us for the rest of our lives. That's a huge period of development. We feel the stuff, we feel things most intense then, and a lot of our dreams come out of that time period.
yes,
So that's really
exactly. It's
cool.
it's such a beautiful time. I just love it.
Is
So yeah,
there
anyways, but go on.
is there an experience that you've had where you've connected with an audience or an audience member from your work, from your time on stage, or where you've connected with the material in such a way that you didn't expect, or with a member of the crowd that you didn't expect, that came to you afterwards and said, "You know what? I really needed that," or "That meant X to me."
So many times, every time, every show. And that's probably 90% of why I do it, is because of how the audience feels. It's my show is really hard to do. And I'm getting older. I've got like this autoimmune disorders that I've suddenly become aware of, and I'm like,
Okay.
no, that makes sense. So each show I do, it's climbing a mountain to do it. But afterwards, to speak with people and or hear them say that I haven't laughed like that in years, or I used to listen to Barbara Streisand with my mom and she's no longer here. When I do Patsy Cline shows, God, it's just so beautiful to see the people remembering, you know. I'm back to actually, I used to do seniors' homes when I was in my early 20s, and I moved up from that. But now I'm doing a few more now just because they're easy. They're easy on me. They're midweek,
Hmm.
afternoon show. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there.
That's right. They all
Patsy
go to bed at
Cline,
6 o'clock.
totally. Dinner's at 3:30. Anyway, yeah. But I've got one actually this week. I only just started doing this a few months ago because I filled in for someone, and then the person we're talking cruise ship homes. We're not talking like just like the long term.
Yeah.
These are like $10,000 a month places that I would love to go when the time comes
Yeah.
in West Vancouver type of deal. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing to have the audience come up to you and thank you. I think that is a massive gift. And I love meeting people after the show. I love getting photos. People tell me about their relatives, their husband.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Either the laughing or just the tears of happiness of just remembering their loved ones through laughing at seeing me on stage, impersonating somebody. It's
We've
really beautiful.
there's a cast member by the name of Andy Frizzell who has joined us a few times now. She played the Wraith Queen in Atlantis, and one
Mm.
of her causes is specifically focused on the elderly, um,
Mhm.
especially when they get to they get to the age where they're infirm, or we have to, in some cases, place them in a home or a
Yeah.
facility. Um, our society throws these people away.
Hmm.
That's wrong. And uh, what you're doing is giving back and reminding all of us that they still have stories that they can share, and
Um,
they still deserve to be heard once the stage lights go down.
100%. I mean, and when I do seniors homes, my favorite thing is to stay afterwards. And it's different when I do my big diva show. I'm also physically exhausted at the end of those shows. And
Yeah.
people usually just want to come up and get a photo, but when I do the seniors homes, I want to meet them.
That's
I
right.
want to, I've met the most incredible people that have just told me the most, I wish I could remember them right this second, incredible stories of their life. Or
Yeah.
like, stories from World War One. And it's just fascinating.
Mhm.
And there they are, like, these wise elders that are, a lot weaker, but they're still there, and
Mhm.
they have so much to offer if you would listen to them. And actually, one of my ideas, honestly, is to go in and just do like a little just video people talking. Like singing is a wonderful thing because I know I'm giving them, happiness and reminiscing, but I really would love to go and just videotape them talking about their lives
You
before
need
they're
a
gone.
videographer. You need a videographer to do that with you, because you could couple that with the um you're in, which is the performance, but they're making a connection with you through the performer that you are emulating, and through the talent that you are genuinely presenting in the music, and your gift of gab, which is also
Hmm.
important to listen as
Hmm.
well. And that sounds
Yeah.
like what you're doing.
Oh
So
yeah.
you
No,
get
I
yourself a
ask
good
questions.
videographer and an editor, and
I know that's
you've
my
got something
problem.
really special.
Exactly. I mean, I did video. Because I love editing myself, but
You
my
do.
problem is always like, I can't do it all.
That's it.
I need someone on this end. I can do all the editing, but I can't shoot, be in it, and even though I don't have to be in it, but I can
Is that
shoot
something
them.
you'd
But
be
it's
interested
just
in having me reach out to
facilitate.
Vancouver fans and ask about?
Please
Because I've
do.
got a number of Vancouverites on here who have camera experience, and if you'd like, I'll have them reach out to you through your website. Let's go ahead and bring that
Absolutely.
up
Please do.
while we're
Okay.
at that right now,
Yeah.
because
Great.
that sounds very special.
It
And
is.
so
Yeah.
to contact you here, this is celebrity-imposters.com. And
That's
this is
right.
how they can get in touch with you to book a show or to get more information. So we're going to have that out there for everybody. So,
Thank
because
you.
that's
Yeah.
that's something that's really awesome.
It is. And I'm doing one in like 3 days. And I'm not doing a lot of them, but I'm looking forward to it. And I did tell Joe, my husband, that I really want to do that. You know, I really want to
Well,
talk to them and hear their stories.
it's the way that you give back. It's very similar to what we're doing here. So this actually brings me to my next question. So I'm looking Country Queens.
Mhm.
You've got tickets on sale here. So are these ones that are multiple costume changes?
Oh yeah, most of my show, the only show I don't do even Patsy Cline, I do multiple costume changes.
Okay.
It's kind of my thing. I just, I'm energy is a big thing in my show where you're constantly entertained. There really isn't a moment of, but then with Patsy Cline, I get to also sing the songs that are going to resonate, and they're beautiful, Sweet Dreams, I Fall to Pieces, Crazy. Well, 90% of Patsy Cline stuff is the sad,
Oh, she
there's
milks it.
no very little sort of like, let's sing a song and get happy. It's more like, oh no, I lost him again. You
I
know,
fall to pieces.
that's right.
Just wilting. Oh, but that voice though. Well,
um,
that I think begs the obvious question. If you're doing costume changes, how do you keep that? I'm always curious about this. What's an individual strategy? Because they're all different. How
mhm.
do you keep the energy up when you're changing costume? How do you keep them going?
First of all, they're very quick, and I make
Yeah, I
sure
would
that I
say
have.
so.
So that honestly, the costume changes are that's the hellish part of my show, because
That's right.
I can't do anything slowly. I've got between 15 and 45 seconds to make my costume change.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
But
you start with the thicker stuff, I'm assuming, and work your way down.
no, I don't do a lot of layering.
Wow.
No, I have to do most of it's full. So what my ideal preference is, depending on the venue, is I love having, when they have a screen, what I do is I have little clips that play, and they're clips
Okay.
of me. Like, for instance, I just did an Australian tour, which was incredible. I had so much fun. It was like a
Wow.
real adventure. I'd never been before. And I was like, I want to go to Australia. Like, where can I do my show where people would get it
Yeah.
and want to see? And I started planning it last year. I did it all myself. It almost didn't happen because I'm one of those people that I'm just like, I have an idea and I'm going to start working on it before I figure out if it's smart to do, you know?
Mm.
So
Mm.
after I booked all my 6 shows, I realized by Googling, oh, you need a sponsor. What? Why would I need a sponsor? Anyways, yeah, you do. You need a
To come
sponsor.
to
And it
work.
was, yeah. And it was a
Yeah.
miracle that I even got one. And he even told me he felt sorry for me. He's so sweet. When I went there, I'm like, you took a chance on me. He goes, well, he had kind of he sounded more British actually than Australian. He's like, I kind of felt sorry for you. So, and I was like, well, thank you for taking pity on me, because I got to have this amazing adventure. But back to the clips. So I thought, oh, this will be fun when I do my Julie Andrews number. Maybe I'll just, I'll get dressed up as Julie Andrews and I'll run around the Sydney Opera House and make like a funny video of doing that instead of my usual video that I use here in Vancouver. So I made a new video there, and it's hilarious.
You did the
And
opera house.
yeah, like it's just like what I do is it's the footage of the Sound of Music, and it
Yes.
starts with the original Sound of Music, and then it zooms in on
Spinning on a
Maria
hillside.
spinning, and then she turns around and the close-up turns, and I'm like, it's me in Australia at the Sydney Opera House. And then it's just me like, ooh, like running around and bobbing behind trees. And I
The
remember it was like,
sails are alive.
exactly. Oh, it's so much fun. And it was
uh,
35 degrees that day. Oh my
yeah, it's
God.
toasty.
Yeah, it was really hot. But anyway,
Man, what an
so
experience.
yeah,
So that's cool.
it was really wonderful. I'd love to go again. Hope he feels sorry for me enough that he'll take me a second time.
How long were you down there?
24 days.
Wow.
Yeah. And did 4 shows. I
Wow.
canceled 2 because like the ticket sales were kind of like nobody has a clue. And my show is so hard to sell because they're like, is it drag? What is it? And until they see it, they just don't know. And everyone's always totally like, wow, I didn't know it was going to be like that. I wasn't expecting that, you know, which is nice to hear, but you want to know that people, I try to present it so that people understand what it is, but it is very difficult. Unless you see it, it's hard to explain. Like, I'm a woman and I sing
Yeah.
and I do costume changes, but I'm not a tribute artist, really more like a comedian, but I do tribute some of them and then some of them I parody, you know.
It
It's
sounds
just
like a
like a crazy
variety
ride.
show. You know,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of messaging it. And the other thing is, and this always surprises me,
Mhm.
you never know, especially since a lot of your repertoire is country, you never know who's going to be a big country fan. And I'm always surprised when people come here to Nashville from
Mm.
far-flung parts of the earth. They're huge country fans out there. It's like, really? You? They're like, yeah, that's all I listen to. It's like, oh, well,
Well, it's crossed
spank
over
good,
for a
Rosie.
lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so, you know?
Oh,
I don't
country.
know
And you know
about
what?
country. I'm not a huge fan.
No, well,
So,
I mean, I like my certain, I'm not crazy into country, but I love comedy. That's my thing. I just love
yes.
bringing people together, and I have someone for everybody. I mean, I've got I have Edith frickin' Bunker in the show, okay? Edith Bunker
Really?
from All in the Family. Yes.
Yeah?
And it gets huge
Awachi!
laughs. Ah, yeah. I mean, I sing, for the days, and the other people are like, what? And then I do other characters that other generations don't know, but it's
Yeah.
still funny to watch, even if they don't know who it is. And then they learn a little something. Um, I put Taylor Swift in the show, and I sing "Shake It Off," but it's a parody, and true to my life. It's about a menopausal woman, and it's about wearing a bra that's too tight, and it's called "Take It Off," and it's really really funny. So I just changed all the words, and then I have the words on the screen so they can read it, because when it's quite fast. It's much
Yeah.
better when people can hear the words or hear it and see them written as
As
I'm
it's coming
singing.
in. Yeah, they're processing it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They're
That's awesome.
processing.
No,
Yeah.
that's
So that's
and are
really
you
fun.
finding that Taylor that bit is really hitting?
Um, well, with a certain age group, 100%. But
Okay.
I recently did the Lido Theater in Fort St. John. And I had so many young girls, which I was really surprised because I do all the classic divas, right? Like, I'm 55 years old, so I can only like authentically impersonate so many. It has to be a parody once you get
Exactly.
over it. Yeah, I mean, I take care of myself and everything, and I'm still like, pulling off characters that I'm like, really? Are you still doing her? Like Marilyn Monroe. But hey, from a distance, and all you have to do is put on the voice and put on the wig. And of course, when I do my show, my lips are twice the size. You'd never know. Like, I look totally different when I do my show makeup. This is just a little bit of makeup,
We're getting to see
I'm a
you. Yeah.
chameleon.
To
This
be
is what I
honest,
look like with a little bit of makeup.
well, to
Hmm?
be honest, when you were coming on, when I was planning to have you come on, I was like, I wonder who's going to show up.
I know. I
Because
thought
you could have picked one, and it would be like, I guess I'm talking to Cher. So very
I
good.
I thought
I've
about
got
doing
you, babe.
that.
Let's do this.
Okay, babe, let's do it. Let's go. Yeah. I If you ever want to do that, I'll do that, and
I
we'll
may have
do
to have you
we'll
back
do.
as one.
Oh yeah, well totally I'll do that. I wish I had a Morgan wig because I don't have the amount of hair that I had back then, but
How
when
was
I
your
look at
hair?
those photos, holy shit, that was my hair. I'm just like, holy fuck, where did my hair go? It's incredible. It was so much hair just piled and piled and piled. And of course, like they backcomb every little, every
Within
tiny
an
little
inch of
piece
its
of it.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember how I got all of that out of my hair. I don't remember. I mean, it
Man.
was 25
You
years
were
ago.
you were
Wild.
saying that this was, you said, weeks of costume fittings.
Yes. Like over a
My
period of
gosh.
probably, I don't know, 3 weeks maybe. But
Three
I mean, I didn't
weeks.
go every day, but I
Of
had,
course, but they were
I
making
had
adjustments
to.
and then bringing
Oh
right.
yeah, no, this was a huge job. Like I remember her
Wow.
saying like this is the hardest one, or this is my most prized,
Wow.
thing. She's really proud of it.
Yeah,
She should
Christina was
be.
extraordinary. The when how much of that was run by you? It's like, are you cool with this? Are you cool with us pushing the ladies
No,
up there this high?
I
Or
am
so
never what
they mold you like clay.
For me, yeah, I've never been that one that's like, oh, okay, do you mind if maybe I think I'd look better if blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm here for you. You guys tell
You're
me
the
what you want,
canvas.
and I will move my boob this way or that way,
Yeah,
whatever way you want, you know. So it was
wow,
fun. We had fun with that. And they just kind of, I just said, yeah, I'm like, just do whatever, tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do it.
that's right. I've got some fan questions for you.
Mhm.
Marsha Middleton, have Marsha, have friends, family, or fans, thank you, Marsha, suggested characters that you have incorporated into your shows?
Oh, I remember my sisters telling me you should try doing Reba. And I was like, really? And we were sitting around the barbecue in Chilliwack. It was a summer day. And then we were drinking, some wine. And then I was like, well, let me just try. Let's see if I can do the voice. And we were all laughing our asses off. And they're like, oh my God, you should do Reba. You can sound like her. I'm like, I don't know. And then I started kind of, like doing, making my lip a little, just it just sort of came up from a conversation, a few laughs over some wine, and I tried her in the show. And weirdly,
It works.
the yeah, no, Reba is one of people's favorite characters in the show because I like to make videos where I say, "What's your favorite show or favorite character, and which one's your favorite?" And then they tell me, and it's always Cher, Dolly, Tina, Reba, and lately Taylor, which is funny, just because it's funny.
Wow.
I just wear the wig a little shorter and I have these heart-shaped glasses and a t-shirt and I just come out like over it. And I'm just like talking, I'm just like singing about my menopausal symptoms. It's really funny. It's ridiculous.
It comes down, if the audience is going to fall in love with it, it comes down to whether or not you believe it. Because if you believe it and then they see that it's earnest, that they see that you're not just trying to pull a fast one on them, that you're having a good
Yeah,
time
this,
with
yes,
them at
absolutely.
maybe at the a little bit of the expense of yourself, the
Oh
audience will
God,
go with you
yes.
the rest of the way.
Absolutely. I mean, they love it I make fun of myself more than anyone in the audience for sure. I had a show yesterday and I was doing a festival in Maple Ridge and they wanted a show called Through the Decades. So I didn't get to do my usual show, which I could do in my sleep because I know who goes after who and how much time I have
Yeah,
and this and that. And I was like, I got to do this new thing and I don't really know what to do. And I was racking
yeah,
my brain. And then I'm like, okay. And I always tend to overdo, I tend to put in too much. So 45-minute show, I've got 9 costume changes. And I was like, what am I doing to myself? But I'm like, oh, that's going to be too long. And I want to try to medley in this. And anyways, got there and saw that it's, outdoor venue, like grass, like bugs, one table, thank God. I brought my own rack. I brought my own tables. I've got like 2 massive suitcases. I had
wow,
some help, a little bit of help there with me, and the costume change area was miles away from the stage. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? And then at one point, I was thinking, okay, while I'm start off as Marilyn, because it was through the decades, so you want 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s,
that's
2000,
right.
and of course, went in that order. But anyway, as Marilyn, I asked these boys who were there to help me put on my boots during my Marilyn bit, so I could not waste time changing in the back. But then I forgot to get my shoes back from them when they put my boots on. And so then when I came out as Tina Turner eventually, because I had other boots I was wearing, I just had to go out in my bare feet. And I think, but people like, oh, fishnet feet, but the audience really love when something happens and they're on the ride with you. Like they really enjoy that. And I never look like I sweat anything when it happens. And I don't because it's a comedy show. And if something goes wrong, okay. And I'll let everyone know. And I just told them to throw my shoes up while I was Tina and I just made some kind of joke out of it. And it was just I just love to involve the audience with me because I want people to feel like we're all in this together.
That's the
And
thing.
it's fun. Yeah.
There's I have a friend by the name of Diana Botsford. She was a part of a stage production of The Wizard of Oz at one point a while ago.
Mhm.
And there's a model of the Witch of the West. It's about yay big, shooting across a wire in the background when she's on her broom. And her little tutu gets stuck in the wrong direction on the doll as it shoots across
Oh,
the screen, the stage.
right.
She enters stage right, the actor, and she's pulling the tutu back down or whatever it is that she was wearing
Yeah.
because she saw the doll fly by and maintain that continuity for
I
the
love
audience.
that. I
And
love
it's little
that.
things like that the audience really
Absolutely.
appreciates. They don't know if it was accidental or on purpose, but they just go with it. And it's
That
always
is a great analogy or a story antidote. I love that. That's so true.
you weave it
Um,
in.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm just thinking now, like I forget when it was, maybe a few weeks ago, I did a show and I do this bit with, it's always kind of a really funny part of the show where I get a guy to be a Sonny Bono to my Cher, and he's up there and I always sing for him. Right. So I do like a bad ventriloquy, but it's really, I guess it's good enough that everyone laughs their ass off because they know I'm singing it, but I just make him mouth the words. But I had a guy who was just kind of going like, he wasn't like he wasn't opening and closing his mouth much. So I just kind of went with it and I was just mumbling what I thought he might be saying. What I was just like, and it just really went over hilarious. I just kept doing it. I was just watching him, and whatever sort of mouth movement he made, I was trying to make a noise as to what I thought that mouth movement might make.
Every audience is going to land differently.
Yeah,
You
but
never know what kind of. Sometimes you have a tough crowd, and others it's like, man, this one just
so easy
does itself.
Like they're giving to me, like their audience, like
That's
the
right.
Lido I did with the young like girls who were after, and they were just like, "Oh my God, you're freaking amazing, man! I was so. Can you come drink with us?"
Right.
And
Yeah.
they were
No.
just so into it, and it was so funny. But other crowd, other audiences, I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm pulling teeth out there!" Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is like hard work. And they'll still come up and say how much they loved it because not every crowd is going to be as enthusiastic on the outside. They might be
On the
feeling it on the
outside.
inside.
That's
Lots of
exactly
people,
right.
and yeah, like I'll watch funny things and I'll be like I'll be thinking it's funny, but I'm not going. I'm just watching, thinking in my head like that's clever. Oh,
That's
that's
right.
really good.
But I
That
can only
you
imagine
know.
you have a quiet room, and afterwards they come out around. And they're like, "We loved it." I'm like, "Really?
Why didn't you tell me? Yeah, your face didn't tell me. It was
This is a two-way conversation."
yeah, like sometimes you get an audit, like the front row, and they all look like those two guys from the Muppet Show. Where they're just like miserable, you know?
Statler and Waldorf. Yes, I know that.
Yes, yes,
Except they're usually laughing at themselves. Oh!
that's true.
Jeez. Oh man, that's funny stuff. How much longer can you see yourself doing this?
Good question. Sometimes
You
I
talked
think,
about an
why are you still
autoimmune disease that you've discovered.
Yeah,
Like
and
realistic here.
5 years. But honestly, I'm just that person who's probably I'll do it for as long as I can. Now, if my show didn't require the amount of energy that it requires, I could do it for longer. But the sort of, to me, the magic of my show is that manic energy. And unfortunately, that manic, crazy energy, I think, is what's kind of killing me at the same time because I have to do everything slow now. Like I have to move slow, I have to bend slow. I have to, I'm still navigating what this is, and it's a very long freaking name, ankylosing spondylitis. Sounds like a supercalifragilistic, but anyways, I don't know because there's flares and then I'm not sure. I'm in the middle of it right now. I mean, I'm in the middle of literally dealing with it now. Yesterday's show, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, and I did
Feeling it when you perform.
Actually, while I'm performing, the endorphins are like
they take over.
They take over. It's after the show. It's after the show that you feel it. I feel it. Yeah. No, during the show, you know, it's like the show goes on. I once cut my foot so bad, And it's like, I don't give a shit. You just you get your foot in those boots and you get, it's like that voice. I've got this like voice in my head that's like, keep going. Don't
Yeah, you
even
got
think
drill
about it.
sergeant.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
totally. I'm like, anything for the show. And my body has paid the price for that. I have sang through shows so sick, which is terrible because, you know, you can do permanent damage.
That's right.
Just pushed myself. Everything about my show is extremely physically demanding, but people have such a great time at the end of it that I just have to do it. I love doing it and I want to do it. I want to do it for as long as I can. And you know, if I can get a handle on like what's happening, then I'll be able to keep doing it. For sure for 5 years. And honestly, it depends on how good I look, you know. I mean, it's a comedy, so I can get away with a lot. But if I, you know, people are still, I can also judge from how the audience reacts. You know what I mean? I'm just glad that I'm not taking myself too seriously because if you did, then I would not be lasting much longer at all. You know,
Life's
I
too
want to
short.
give them, yeah, I don't want an audience feeling sorry for me. That is the last thing you ever want. Is someone being like, oh no, is she okay? Oh, I'm worried for, you know, I never want them to think that. And there's a lot of physical comedy in my show. So, you know, my
How
Tina
long is the
Turner is
program?
insane. 2 hours.
2 hours, Bonnie.
No. And
And
like
how many
15-minute
characters
break.
typically?
20 per show. Yeah. For the Divas
One
show.
song
That's
each?
what. Hmm?
One song each?
No, not really. I do medleys. I do a
Okay.
thing where I do like the Edith Bunker thing. It's 1 minute. It's a 6-minute medley where, you know, and then I do other ones where I'm like out for 10 minutes as Cher and like 7 minutes as Tina and 8 minutes as Dolly and 2 minutes as this person. And it depends on the character. Sometimes it's just a gimmick. Like when I come out as Pat Benatar, I'm hit me with your best
Oh
shot.
my God.
But I pick up a dartboard. I have like one of those springy dartboard, like those ones that are round and they fold up into like 5 different layers, and you just do this and it goes boing, and then people throw those Velcro balls at me.
Uh-huh.
It's just it's funny.
It's a
It's just
shtick.
silly. It's like, oh yeah, they're throwing them. I'm hit me with your bat, and I'm trying to dodge balls. I've gotten nailed in the head so many times, and funny things
Fire.
happen. You don't realize how the show goes until something goes wrong or breaks. Or
Yeah.
I remember one time I was at a celebrity impersonators convention, which was so much fun.
That's
And
a
I was
thing.
doing, it is a thing in
Wow.
Florida, in Orlando. So much fun. I've met some amazing friends there, but
Wow.
I was doing coming out as Prince, you know, that turns into Austin Powers. And I came out with my hairbrush instead of the microphone, and like everyone laughed, and it was a mistake. And everyone's just like, "Oh, it's so funny when you came out with it." And I'd never done that before, and that was a total mistake. I didn't keep that one, but what I did keep that I did once, the improving, is after Pat Benatar, I'll come out as Prince. And I just decided as I was singing, I was like, I'm going to grab two of those balls. And I put them on my shorts right down, you know, right there. And they stuck there. The two Velcro balls stuck. And they were laughing so hard at that. And then I was like, don't have to be rich. And I've got these like two Velcro
Oh
balls. It's
man.
ridiculous. But they were and I've
Oh
kept it in.
God.
I keep that in now. Now I'm like, it was an accident. And I was like, you know, that's how a lot of bits are created by sort of
This is
accidents.
awesome. Well, that's how you
Yeah.
find it, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a straight line, but often it's not.
You know, you can't always think like, oh, this will be a good
You have to
idea. Like
feel
it
it.
only comes to you while you're out there frying on a pan like an egg. Like, you
That's
know, and
it.
everyone just like watching it, like, oh, watching this egg fry. Oh man.
Oh man. Um excuse me. Deft reference wanted to know the folks on set, like Michael Greenberg, he was there every day during photography. Did anyone provide any content for Morrigan that you could chew on besides what was going on with the costume? You all knew that you were there because there was a threat and you were trying to figure out who was responsible. Is there anything else going on that you recall that you were given as notes? Were you all told to be brooding? Were you all,
We
what
were
was Martin Wood providing?
told not to trust anybody.
Yeah.
And to be protective, you know, but they didn't give us much. And then I mean, my part was, you know, was so small, but you can still do a lot with a look.
That's what
You know
I
what I
say.
mean? Yeah, if that's all I was given, then I'm gonna do as much as I can with that. If I don't have a line, and there was another, and I don't remember if I saw this, if they put it, if if it would got it cut or not. But you know, eating the
The symbiotes.
yeah, the symbiotes. That's right. So there was a scene where we were eating them, and but they were invisible, of course. So they just told us like you're eating these things, and you know, so it was just like kind of thing. But I don't remember seeing that. Do you?
I can show it to you right now if you want to see it.
I don't remember. I remember. No, I remember some of them. No, but not. I don't think I was in it eating a symbiote.
That is a really easy thing that I can check right
Oh,
now.
but I do remember because they said, you know, it's CGI.
That's
There's
right.
gonna be this moving thing, and I was like, oh, cool. This
That's
is
what you
awesome.
guys
I get to
actually
pretend.
are on the inside.
Yeah,
That's
right. I know. That's
it's
that
really
they
I'm
manifest.
pretty sure you're in that shot. Let me see here. Real quick.
Yeah, I don't remember
Um,
seeing that, but I always thought that would have been great.
let's have a look. Oh, there's Cliff Simon. There's you.
Oh,
Everyone pull up your sleeves because it's about to get gnarly.
yeah.
This
There we
was
go.
one of the most disturbing sequences from the franchise.
There's yeah.
Anna Louise Plowman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oof. Alrighty.
Wow.
Fun times, right?
Cool. Yeah.
God sakes.
Memories.
What'd you do this weekend? I became cannibal. Gosh. Let's have a look here.
Really?
Sarah Beamy. If the System Lords had one, what do you think an empire ruled by Morrigan would have looked like? A lot of leather.
A lot of slaves.
Some spikes.
Absolutely.
Helga's House of Pain.
That sounds about right.
Oh, gosh.
I don't think she would. Yeah, she definitely wouldn't ever have an equal. She would be the top. She would never have like a partner. She would just have.
No. If you look back at the language of how they're all interacting with each other in that first scene, Bastet and Kali were obviously allied with each other on some level. Morgan's only really talking to her slave. She ain't got no time for anybody else. That's it.
No, she doesn't
She's
work
waiting
well
there
with others.
No. And
She
she's
it's
definitely
like
putting out a statement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that she would ever try to have a relationship with any of them. I think she would just want to be the top, which is
That's it.
It's not smart. If you could at least, like Survivor, you know what I mean? You've got to kind of branch off with someone to make it. You can't really make it on your own. But
and
go on.
She was cunning because in season 8, a few years later, we find out that Bastet and Olakun are dead, and that Morgan has the word is that Carter uses is capitulated. So under Ball, so she's basically like, okay, you've got this. So she, as far as we know, she wasn't wiped out, which I thought was so interesting because they all don't just fight to the last man. Some of them are more strategic and are like, okay, I'm done. I'm out. Go ahead. Just give me a little hill to be king on. I don't need a lot. I just need my slaves.
Well, I just, if she hasn't died, I really would love to audition for that part. I really would.
Right.
'Cause, that would really be cool. That'd be really fun to
Well, we
actually
got
have the
another Stargate
original
show,
actor.
so who
Hmm.
knows?
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly.
I have been encouraging so many of those folks, even though the shooting is going to be in the UK, um, for most of it. Doesn't mean that just because you played a character in the past doesn't mean that you can't play a new one. And that's one of the
Mhm.
things that I'm hoping to see is that we'll have folks from the past who come in to play something new, because well, a lot of time has passed, and there's a chance to shake things up a little bit. So I'm hopeful.
Well, when is the release or when is the shooting,
This
beginning?
fall,
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And I
and
can't
we're
believe
very
you've done,
excited.
yeah, I bet. But how many episodes you've done? 438?
38, I think.
Wow,
Yes, 38
that's
total.
amazing.
It's been the love of my midlife. So, and I'm so thankful to folks like you for making it possible. There are so many stories to tell, and every face has a story behind it. Especially when I saw
Yeah.
yours and I saw this website that was attached to it, it was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be best friends with her, because this what a 2 hours, 20
What?
people. That's just an
Oh, yeah.
extraordinary program that you do.
I was
You
reacting to
know,
2 hours. What?
two
Yeah, I
hours
know. It
you
is. It is. I
to
know.
sustain that
It's
energy.
a bit insane. No, it's an enormous amount of energy. It is. And
Oh
it's
man,
just go, 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 go.
that's
It's
right.
fun though. People love it. And it's my mission in life to bring
That's
them
it.
levity and to
You have
feel
a
like we're all in this
you have
together.
a
Go on.
and we are. Do you have a
Yes,
specific
right.
venue that you routinely utilize,
I
or
have
is it
tons
always
of
different?
venues. No,
You
it's
do.
all over the place. I mean, all over the place. My
Okay.
goal for next year is to do England and Ireland because I've got family there, and my husband is from Croatia. So
Okay.
yeah, so I wanna do a tour there. But no, I've gone to Mexico and Puerto Vallarta because my show is great for gays and seniors. So
Right.
perfect. Palm Springs, Puerto Vallarta. Um, it's just one of those shows that it's an amazing crossover audience, really wide demographic, which is great.
S-
And I want
There's
to keep adding to it. Mhm.
that's the thing. I'm looking at the different folks that you've done, and there's no one on th- there's no one who could look at that list and not say I don't know who any of those people are.
Yeah.
So you're gonna
However,
recognize somebody or more than one.
yeah, but I have a few memories. It's funny. Maybe they know who Cher is now, but I think it was maybe 8 years ago. I did this. I got dressed up as Cher, and I walked into this university. There were like so many people were like, I don't know who Cher is. I'm like, oh God, they haven't seen
Shame on
Mamma
you.
Mia hadn't come out yet, I don't think. But
Ah, okay.
if I do have a young audience, they do know who Cher is, and they know her because of Mamma Mia. Believe it or not, they're like,
Really?
"Oh my God, that's the actress from Mamma Mia," and it's really funny because I just make that joke, and all the boomers laugh because they're like, "Oh my God." They think that's the actress from Mamma Mia. They don't know,
They
like,
know
that's freaking
nothing.
Cher,
Yeah,
man. You
that's
know?
right.
Like she's turning 80 this month, and I actually have a Cher show coming up this weekend on May 9th. Like I have a solo Cher show where I just do like 10 costume changes, and she's just so much fun. Like she's got so much attitude. But then at halfway through the show, I do a guest appearance and I come out like Sharon Osbourne and I do her. And we do a little Cher contest where someone has to wear the wig and run around as Cher on the stage. Anyway, because Sharon Osbourne is such a flip
Uh-huh.
from Cher, because
Uh-huh.
Cher was like totally like she hardly ever smiles and everything she does is with like minimal energy, really. And then Sharon Osbourne is like the total opposite. So I love kind of doing opposites because
You're
it's just
flipping the
more,
switch. That's exactly
yeah,
right.
yeah. And
Jacob wanted to know,
surprise
have
people.
you heard about the upcoming Stargate cruise?
No, what did you mention that to me in an email? But no, I
I
haven't.
may have.
Or
So
maybe I just saw that online. Maybe I
it's
saw that
porting
online.
out of is it Miami, Jake? Where I forget where it is. But it's definitely out of Florida, and
Oh,
it's going to be in January of
Cape Canaveral
20. Is it Cape? Not entirely sure.
in
But
January. Well, I'll get a hold of them
January.
and say, because I worked on cruise ships for 10 years.
That's the thing.
And mhm. And they might go, oh,
Absolutely.
hey, she's a star. Because then they can sort of fill a few boxes. They can have the show. Actually, I could do 2
Mm.
shows, and then they can do, I don't know, dress up like Morgan.
It's worth an email. Yeah, it's exactly
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So for sure.
I chase all the
Absolutely.
leads. I chase them all
There ain't
because you never
nothing wrong with
know.
that.
You just never know.
You never know. Yeah, the worst thing is never asking and never trying. So
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
something. Yeah.
This has been such a treat, Bonnie. Thank you so much for sharing so much of yourself this
Thank
episode.
you.
This has been really cool. And anyone who is in the Vancouver area, if you have a video background, I've shared,
Mm.
and already in the link below, I've already added Bonnie's website,
Thank you.
celebritymposters.com. You are definitely going to have a good time one way or the other.
Oh yeah, they
Going
will.
and coming and checking this thing out.
And I can do all the editing if you don't want to edit.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else
Thank
before
you,
we let you
David.
go? Anything
No,
anything you want to let everyone know aware of?
anytime you want one of the characters I do on the show, you let me know, and I'll show
We
up
may
in
just
my
have
show
to.
face.
Okay. Yeah,
All right.
as the show gets closer, we're reaching out to a broader swath of the cast and crew, and I'd love to pick one or two to bring on an interview. I think that would be fun. So,
Okay.
and I've already reached out to um, ah,
Paul?
Paul Anthony.
Great. Yeah.
Yes. So would love to have him on as
Yeah,
well.
he's a
So thank you
great
so much for
character.
that.
He's got a lot to offer. Like he's just got a history. I mean, he's done a lot as well. Yeah.
You've been a pleasure.
Thank you,
For
David.
spending time
And
today.
thanks everyone for watching. And yeah, let me know if anyone wants to meet me on May 7th, a $10,000 a month seniors home in West Vancouver.
Bonnie, thank you. I'm going to wrap up the show on this
Thanks,
side.
David. Bye-bye.
You take care of yourself.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That is Bonnie Kilroe, Morrigan in Stargate SG-1. My name is David Reed. You're watching the Stargate Oral History Project. If you enjoy the show and you want to see more content like this on YouTube, do me a favor and click that like button. It does make a difference with the show and will continue to help us grow our audience. And if you've got Stargate friends out there, send the show to a Stargate friend, and they'll appreciate seeing it. And if you want to get notified about future episodes,
thank you for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving us a thumbs up with that like button. Also, please consider sending this to a fellow Stargate friend. I also want to invite you to subscribe to future episodes right here on YouTube. We are a live show
on the Dial the Gate and gateworld.net YouTube channels. My tremendous thanks to my fellow Patreons who are making this show possible. I could not do this without you guys, and I'm so thankful to everyone who participates and makes this show what it is. I'm really, really blessed. My name is David Reed for Dial the Gate. I appreciate you tuning in. My thanks to my moderators, Anthony, Jacob, Marcia, Raj. You guys help me pull this thing off week after week. There's no way that I can do this in a bottle. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the other side.